Stop taking meeting notes and
Happy Easter. Happy Easter, everybody, because Donald Trump has completely lost his mind. As if we didn't know that already. He sent out a tweet this morning that's probably, or a truth, whatever you call it. It's probably the most disturbing thing I've ever seen him say. Like the most unhinged thing I've seen him truth out. Gumball, what's up? How are you, Gumball? Tiffany, CCP, Star Rider, Tina, Brenda Dads, Danny, what's going on? Fletch, Christy, Nate Seals, Summershade, what's going on, everybody? Mr. J Fresh, Princess, Leah, Vanessa, Corey, Desi, what's going on, everybody? So, I'm just going to read this. I'm sure you all have seen it already. But it is, they need to be invoking the 25th Amendment today. Like right now, I think people in his cabinet right now should be getting prepared to do that. All he has tweeted out since his unhinged tweet this morning is Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. He's talking about the deadline. I'm going to read the truth. He said Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. 3 exclamation points. Open the effing straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell, he says. Just watch, in capital letters, and then says, praise be to Allah. This is the guy that Christians put on a pedestal. This is the guy Christians believe. I mean, really weird. Really weird. Mike, I'm sorry that you have Trump derangement syndrome. I don't know if you know this, but Trump derangement syndrome, Mike, is when you're obsessed with Donald Trump, which you are. You love him, right? You wear Trump gear. Okay? It's pathetic, Mike. So sit quietly. It's disturbing how much you like Trump, but you're anti-American, so I expect no less. You guys are as un-American as it gets. My family thinks it's fake. Dude, go to the Truth Social and just show them. Just show them. That who's invoking it. There's there is people talking about how Republicans should invoke the 25th Amendment, but I have not seen any official report that anyone's invoking the 25th Amendment. But I'm going to tell you right now, folks, we're in big trouble. Jim Thomas, no one cares. Guys, Jim Thomas is jealous of people gifting. Gift on behalf of Jim Thomas, 4553. He's really triggered. If you go to his profile, he's got a picture of Joe Biden. My supporters don't want jobs. Cry more, dude. Cry more. I love watching you cry. I love watching you squirm in your jealousy. I don't see any update about anybody invoking any 25th Amendment here. But we're cooked, chat. And I don't think that's happening. Alicia says, keep crying, Jim. Yeah, Jim can't even respond to you now. Jim has to sit in silence now and watch the live. Jim can't do anything. You voted for Trump? Oh, perfect. All right, let me put the phone lines on. We got a lot of Trump supporters yapping in here. So maybe Trump supporters want to come actually tell me they still support Trump, I guess. Or they'll probably be too embarrassed to call, though, right? Isn't that what will end up happening? They'll be too embarrassed to actually call. Alicia, thank you so much for the support, Alicia. I appreciate you, Alicia. Thank you for the contribution. Kathy, Thank you so much, Kathy. Thank you, Kathy. B86432. Why don't you call in right now? You eager to debate? You can call in. Call the number right now. Let's hear what you have to say. Since you said you want to debate, you're welcome to call in and try. B86432 is literally saying, why would I call you? Why would you watch me? B86342. You're literally sitting in here watching my live, which means that you're obsessed. You have Adam derangement syndrome. That's a real thing, by the way. Adam derangement syndrome. They call it ADS. Republicans have ADS. We are absolutely in deep shit. We are absolutely in deep shit. If you guys are just joining, we're talking about Trump tweeted something deeply disturbing out this morning. And at the end of it was basically a threat to Iran. And then at the end of the truth, he writes, "Praise be to Allah." I'm just wondering, Christians, you guys are still okay with this? Like, it's funny. I don't think people realize, like, there are people still okay with this. Like, look at this guy. Trump is the best president ever. Go Trump. Go us. Yes. Are you a Trump supporter?
I am.
Okay. And you support what's happening right now? What do you think about the tweet this morning? Just curious. Or the truth, whatever they call it.
I haven't looked at the tweet yet. Could you read it out loud to me?
Sure. Just give me 1 second. I don't have it in front of me here. Just going to pull it up. So the truth this morning, well, there's two. One is one that follows, but I'll play this one first. So he says, Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effin', he used the actual word, straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch in capital letters. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. Thoughts?
What do you mean? Like, what do Democrats think about this?
I wouldn't really call myself a Democrat.
Okay,
in the traditional sense.
How about anti-Trumpers, like the comment
I'm
section?
Antifa. Yeah, I'm on the left. But yeah, I guess I would say Democrats would think he's crazy. I mean, I don't know. Like, what do you mean? I mean, do you think it's nuts for this president who claims he's Christian to be typing "Praise be to Allah" after a threat to Iran? Like, you don't. Why do you need my opinion on that? I'm asking you. What's your take on it?
Well, I think to understand how the mindset, we have to know what both sides are trying to say here, and I think that Democrats are more. See, the thing is, the left, they don't say anything pro-left anymore. It's only anti-Trump. Like, Trump could go out, like, I don't know, something posted on X of him petting a shelter dog, and then all of a sudden everybody will start boycotting PetSmarts and crap.
Did you actually try and both sides this argument? Did you really try and just both sides this Truth Social post?
Yes. And what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with it is you're deflecting. Is it unhinged for the President of the United States to write that on Easter morning? You know it's Easter morning, right?
I sure hope so.
Are you not going to acknowledge the insanity of what we're witnessing here? Unprecedented.
Okay, how is it bad though? Why is that bad? Why is it bad?
I mean, first of all, we'd have to if you really want to get into it in that way, then we're going to discuss what's wrong with the war in Iran. But let's start with praise be to Allah.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to explain to me why the President of the United States would be saying praise be to Allah?
Well, you do understand that Allah is God. It means God, like translates to God,
wait.
right?
Do Christians say praise be to Allah?
No, we say praise be to God.
Right. Who says praise be to Allah?
Maybe people who are in Iran, maybe?
How about Muslim people? People who believe in Islam, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that it's crazy for the President of the United States to say praise be to Allah on Easter morning? Are you actually going, like, at what point are you guys going to realize he's lost his mind? And what is it going to take? Can you imagine if Joe Biden wrote that? Let's just pretend for a second that Joe Biden wrote praise be to Allah on Easter morning, and what your reaction would be. You guys would be losing your freaking minds.
And so the difference is that with Joe Biden, you could clearly see he was more demented. He was unstable mentally to be our president. Trump, he has a right mind. Disagree on that if you want, but he also toys with people. If you can see in his posts, like, he always says stuff to kind of
give me
the
one.
left.
Hold on, I want you to give me just one thing that Joe Biden said during his 4-year term that was crazier than that. Go ahead.
All right, well, hold up. Will you let me go on X or Twitter real quick?
Wait, you have to look it up?
Well, didn't you have to look up the tweet from Trump?
You just made because he just said it today. I wanted to. You
Okay,
said,
cool,
you
but
said,
you didn't
can you
memorize
read
it from earlier?
No, you said, can you read it to me? So I read it to you. Do you understand? You just made a claim that Joe Biden was way crazier and said way crazier things. So now I'm asking you to substantiate that he said way crazier things. Cool. I'll give you a minute.
Well,
go ahead. No, I'm going to give you a minute.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
I'm just pointing out that you made the claim that he said crazier things, and you can't actually provide me something
which he has, and I will provide it if you let me go. But
so can I ask you one thing before you do that really quick? Just real quick before you look this up. I just have a quick question. If Joe Biden made a tweet, let's say the circumstance was Joe Biden, okay, and he was invading Iran, and Joe Biden had said, praise be to Allah on Easter morning in the United States, you're going to tell me you wouldn't be bashing him for that?
No, I absolutely would.
Why?
Because there is a difference between the mindsets. Donald Trump is clearly saying it.
Are you admitting?
Because all minds are not the same.
Wait, hold on. Are you admitting, right, that you would bash Biden if he said the exact same thing?
Yes, absolutely. Because it's a difference in mindsets.
What does that mean?
Because Joe Biden, he was demented. He was crazy. He'd say stuff that didn't make sense. He'd slur his words. He couldn't think straight. Trump, he often says and tweets these stuff to toy with the left, to play with them, to annoy them, to annoy them. Really, that's it.
So it's own the lib politicking, right? He's tweeting these things out to own the libs. It's not because he's completely lost his mind. Okay, I'm waiting. I'm going to give you a minute here to find something crazier that Joe Biden said that you were critical of at the time.
All right, I'll find it in a second.
Sure, I'll wait.
While you're waiting, do you want to talk about anything else?
No, I want you to go find it. I don't want to move on to something else until you prove your point. Why would I?
I'll get back to you 1 second.
We got some crybaby Republicans in chat. I love to see it. It is just so satisfying watching Republicans cry, dude. Man, they are crying. They are super upset this morning that Donald Trump is making a fool of themselves, so they're crashing out. They're crashing out like, what is this, crash out day? Is this crash out day? Are you guys witnessing Republicans just completely fucking crash out? Laura Shock, thank you for the $5 super chat, said, time for the 25th Amendment. I would agree. Of course, this is just one aspect, right? Like, we have to get into why the war in Iran is wrong. And, of course, we're going to get into that.
I don't think the war on Iran was wrong at all.
Sure, we're going to talk about it. I just want you to provide the quote. Did he hang up? Yes, he did. He hung up, ladies and gentlemen. We're not surprised by that. Sheffy, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. Marianne says, I love the crash outs. I love it, too. There's nothing better than watching these maggots crash out. They're crashing hard right now. They are crashing hard.
Call from.
Hello?
Hey, I think Trump is a good president.
Okay, so
I think he's
let
done
me
a lot
just
for
ask
the-
you really quick. Have you read his Truth Social post this morning?
No, I have not.
Okay, I'm going to read it to you. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing straight, he says the actual F word. You crazy bastards, or you will be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald Trump.
I think he's done a lot for the economy, though.
Can you answer? Do you think he's in the mind? Do you think he is well mentally enough to be president of the United States?
I do think that he is.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you have any problem with that or no?
No.
Okay. You guys are completely sick. By the way, the economy's in the toilet, so you're embarrassed. How do you feel about the war in Iran? And as it's speaking of the economy, how do you feel about the war in Iran?
I don't think it affects Americans.
You don't think the war in Iran affects Americans?
Nah, not really. Because it's in another country.
Okay. So, hold on a second. All right. So, let's talk about the multiple ways it affects Americans. Economically, right? Prices have gone up. Okay? Gas prices, for instance, over $4 a gallon. Okay? Grocery prices as a result of these things as well. Iran is actively choking the Strait of Hormuz. Are you familiar with the Strait of Hormuz?
No, how does that affect the gas prices?
Do you know what the Strait of Hormuz is?
I do not.
Okay, the Strait of Hormuz is a waterway that controls 20% of the world's global oil supply.
Okay.
Let's go on to another way it affects Americans. They're dying. Multiple Americans have been killed in this conflict. Are you in the have you ever considered signing up to sacrifice your life, sir?
I have not.
Okay. Would you consider doing it now so you can go fight in Iran?
I would consider it.
You would? Okay. Can you tell me what's the goal of this conflict? I mean, because I've explained to you now some consequences economically. American citizens are dying. Okay, we're talking about another endless war in the Middle East that, I mean, it directly affects Americans. Americans pay for this war in every single way. How could you possibly?
Sure.
What's your response to that? Saying that Americans weren't affected by this because it was in a different country.
Well, to beat terrorists.
To be what?
To defeat terrorists.
To defeat terrorists. Okay, let's talk about that. So, can you tell me what a terrorist is? And Summershade, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Summershade. Someone who intends to terrorize the country.
Perfect. That's great. That's a perfect definition. 210 Rain Christopher, thank you for the $19.99 super chat, bro. Appreciate you, Christopher. So
Shout
someone
out
who intends to terrorize another country. When the United States, attacked Iran, in the process, they bombed an educational institution, a girls' school. Little girls were in attendance.
Yeah, and I don't think that was the intended target.
But wait,
I agree that
you said, do you have any proof it wasn't the intended target? Because by your definition, we are exactly that. We attacked them, right? When you decide that you're going to attack a country, right, you need to make a claim for some kind of hostility defense. There needs to be some kind of evidence of an imminent threat. In this case, what was the imminent threat?
terrorism.
Okay, what does imminent mean?
An immediate, something that requires an immediate response.
Imminent means it's happening now, right? It's happening now.
Correct.
Was this something that Iran was actively planning an attack on the United States? Was it that kind of situation? Or was it Israel?
There are.
Hold
people,
on.
yes,
Or was it Israel planning to attack Iran, and these were preemptive strikes to prevent retaliatory measures on U.S. military bases?
Public relations, I suppose, could be.
Public? What do you mean public relations? Yeah, I didn't think so. Have a good day. Wow. This is a real crowd this morning, man. Let me tell you. Holy moly. Holy moly this morning, folks. Holy moly. Tony in the chat says, I'm a retired Army combat veteran, and I don't think we should fight Israel's war because we will lose like we did in Nam, Afghanistan, and Iraq. We can't see the enemy, and it's a loss before it happens. Tony, I agree with you 100%. Can't even make a case. Can't even make a case for the idea that there was an imminent threat.
Call from
Carlon Shecklebond.
What's going on? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, baby, 100%.
Okay.
Fuck Brandon.
Huh?
I said, forget about Brandon.
Forget about who?
Remember Brandon? Joe Biden, Brandon? Remember they got everybody's calling.
Why are you bringing up Joe Biden, though? I'm just so anyway.
You asked me if I was. I said no, man. I said F Brandon, of course.
Okay. How do you feel about Trump's Truth Social this morning? His post. Do you think it was unhinged and we need to invoke the 25th Amendment?
I think he's just trolling the libs, right? Ashallah. You really think that that's real news, man? That's fake news. Where's your proof that is from Real Truth Social? Are you on that platform?
Yeah, I just looked.
You are on that platform?
Yeah.
Oh, great. When did he post it?
This morning.
Like around what time do you think? Like early?
I can give you the exact time right now. Hold on. Are you claiming it's fake,
Yeah, no
sir?
worries.
Are you claiming it's fake?
I'm claiming what time was it sent? You said you were going to look it up.
I think you're just in denial at this point, like every other Trump supporter. But so it was 5 hours ago, Eastern time.
So 5 hours ago, 3, 2, 1, 12. So around like 11. That's not even early. That's like the afternoon.
Did you
Usually
say
you get
around 11?
Like 11. You said yeah.
The math is not mathing, Chud. The math is not mathing.
What do you said? It's 1:15 right now on the East Coast in FEMA Region 3.
Okay, so what would that be 5 hours ago?
Okay, so 5 hours ago. 1, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. So about 8 o'clock this morning, you think?
Okay, you're flipping out on me because your math was wrong. I mean, come on.
I agree. We agreed it's 8 a.m., right?
Sure, that's perfectly fine. What's your point?
Okay. The Disco D said it's 9 a.m. But anyway, I'm trying to get along with you along the conversation to go along. I asked you, how do you know that thing from Truth Social is even real? Do you know that it was Donald Trump that took his fat little ugly little greasy fingers all covered in gooey slop and pushed those buttons?
Why are you suddenly insulting him, dude? What are you
Who?
Trump.
How is that insulting him? He has tiny hands. You don't remember Marco Rubio with the big old fat ugly ears?
He does. Listen, do you want to have a serious conversation or what, dude?
listen, we could have a conversation, but I was just making a point, and if you want to move on after that, that in reality, neither one of us know that it was his fat little goy slop fingers
Dude, all right, have a
mushing
good
that
day,
screen
dude.
at 8 o'clock this
Have a
morning.
good day, dude. Jesus. Bro, somebody in chat, Bowen78 is a Trump supporter in chat, typing fake channel. They just say anything they don't agree with is fake. There's a Trump supporter in the chat who keeps saying fake channel. They just say anything they don't agree with is fake, dude. You can't make this shit up. You really can't.
Call from
Wow.
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Nah, no, sir. I'm neither.
Okay, and who'd you vote for?
I didn't vote.
That's great, a non-participant. So I'll give you a quick second to give me your take, and then I'm going to move on. What's up?
All right, so my name is Juan. I served in the military, the United States Navy, from 2000 to 2018.
Thank you for your service.
I've been through the Straits. Thank you. I've been through the Straits several times. So yes, this war, you are right. It does affect Americans, regardless of who you support.
It absolutely does. It affects us. The United States. It affects the United States negatively more than any country besides Iran. I mean, like we're paying for this conflict. We're quite literally
I feel like
the American taxpayers paying for this conflict.
But I don't feel like this is something that's new. See, I was in war for a long time when President Trump sent us to war. We knew when we got the orders to go.
You mean President Bush?
I mean President Bush. President Bush.
Yeah.
George Bush. Now, we knew at the time in the military, we knew that, just like a lot of people in the military know now, that they don't want to go out there and fight this war. Because it ain't just fighting a war. It's people leaving their homes, leaving their wives, leaving their kids. I've deployed 7 times. The reason why I do not vote, because one, I don't believe a woman should be president of a country where there's men, a lot of men, that men supposed to be the leaders. There's too many men that can lead.
Hold on.
So
You don't think that women should be
No.
president in a country where
No.
there's men? Then why should men
What
be
I said,
president in a country
I
where...
didn't say,
Hold on.
I didn't say that. You didn't let me finish. Women should not lead men because there are men that know how to lead.
But men should lead women.
Men should lead women, period.
No.
In your household, if
Absolutely
you have a
not.
wife, your wife should not lead you, brother. And if you believe
Oh, my
that, then I
God.
guess I understand. Then I understand where you at.
So can you tell me, you actually just contradicted yourself, right? Because you
No,
said...
I didn't.
Well, if
I
you-
said I didn't vote for women
you
because I don't
didn't
believe a
want-
woman should lead.
Hold on.
Period.
You
And I
told me
wouldn't
to
vote for
let
Trump
you told me
because
to
Trump
let
not
you
qualified.
finish.
That's it.
You told me to let you finish, and then when it was my turn to talk, you started
Yeah,
talking.
but you interrupted every time I'm saying something, bro. You didn't even let me finish.
Guy,
because
you've been
you don't agree
yapping
with me.
for 2 minutes. Let me
Because
respond.
you don't agree. But hold up. But you asked, did you serve in the military?
Are you going to let me finish?
Because you asked somebody else. Did you serve?
You serving in the military doesn't give you the
No,
authority
did you
to
serve
deem
in the
women.
military? You asked. Hold up. You
Can
asked
you
another
shut
caller.
up
You
and
asked
let me
another caller to
respond?
prove your point.
Are you
You
going to
said,
let
you
me
serve
respond?
in the military? And he said
Are you
no.
going to
And
let
I'm
me
asking
respond?
you, did you serve in the military?
Are you going to let me respond or no?
Yes. Did you serve
Okay,
in the military?
good.
Yes or no?
So you actually contradicted yourself when you said...
Did you
this
serve
is
in the
not-
military?
all
What I
right.
asked you.
I've made... No, I didn't. So can I
All right,
respond now?
so hold on. So since you did not
Hold
serve
on.
in the military, you
the
don't,
military
and you
has
never even
nothing
been, hold
to
on,
do with
never
what
even
you
been,
just
have
said.
you ever been through the Straits? Have you
Shut
ever been
up.
through the Straits?
Shut
No,
up
you
and let
shut
me
up.
respond.
You shut up, brother.
All right, listen.
Your
You're
platform is
listen,
you're
listen,
corny as hell.
You're a
You're a weak-ass
misogynist
dude.
moron. You're a misogynist moron. Okay?
Nah, you're
Just so you know that. You don't let people respond. Goofy. You literally just contradicted yourself. You said, this is nothing new. I remember when President Bush sent us to war. First of all, women lead countries all over the globe. In case you didn't know that. Okay? Women lead all sorts of countries all over the globe. we're the only ones that don't accept women as leaders. Okay? We've seen it in multiple different countries. That's number one. But you contradicted yourself, right? Because what you said, this better not be the same guy.
Call from
Harold Shekelon.
Guys, stop calling, man. I'm trying to get new callers.
I'm trying to call in, and you asked about Trump and the economy, and do I really?
No, you started talking about fingers and Trump's hands and shit. So you said, right? Let me just explain, because this guy wouldn't shut up. He doesn't want to listen to anyone's opinion, especially women's, right? So he says this is nothing new. They've been getting us into war for years. I remember when Bush sent us to war. I think that guy legitimately was confusing Iraq and Iran. Like, I'm dead serious. I think that guy doesn't know where Iran is on a map, but that's besides the point. He literally, I'm 90% sure that caller was confusing Iran and Iraq. I'm not even kidding. So he says, but this is nothing new. Well, so what are you saying? Men continuously send us in war. Wouldn't it be time to try something different? Don't you think? I think so. We're the only ones. We're the only ones that don't accept this. I mean, that caller says he was in the military, but quite literally confused two different countries. Look at this. What the fuck? Look at this. Mr. E. Guys, Mr. E is in here again on another account crying about people gifting super chats. Jesse Erickson. Guys, send a super chat on behalf of Jesse Erickson, Mr. E. He's crying. He's crying in the chat. He's crashing out in the chat. No, the dude literally confused Iraq and Afghanistan. I mean, Iraq and Iran. So I don't know what he's talking about. George W. Bush sending troops to invade Iran during his presidency. So I'm 90% sure that guy was confusing two different countries. So I'd like to know when historically he's talking about. He said George W. Bush. All right, if you are a Trump supporter, you can call in 908-652-3703. One of the MAGAs in there was like, that's not a real MAGA supporter. Yeah, so Feisty, in case you don't know this, Feisty, the Constitution protects you from the government. It doesn't protect you from me. In fact, the First Amendment allows me to curate my own message, right? That's what the Constitution does. The Constitution, in terms of the First Amendment, protects you from the government. Me muting you in chat is not a violation of your First Amendment right, goofball. What's up, dude? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And what do you think about Donald Trump's Truth Social this morning?
Look, let's be honest. Like his policies, dislike his policies. He has a bad habit of just going online and just rambling shit out.
You like his foreign policy?
I prefer his domestic policies more.
You said you like his policies. I mean, his foreign policy affects his domestic policy. Look how his foreign policy is actively impacting the economy. I mean, do you agree with the war in Iran?
One hand always washes the other, and it's not a war yet. It would be a conflict. Only Congress can declare war.
We haven't declared war since World War II. Was global war on terror a war?
It was declared a war. Global war on terror was declared a war.
No, it wasn't. We have not, Congress has not declared war since World War II. Just because you pass a resolution doesn't mean Congress necessarily declares war. So you're incorrect. Can you tell me, do you agree with
passed a resolution accepting the global war on terror? Just like
passing
there was a global war on drugs.
Passing a resolution isn't an automatic declaration of war. I don't
Correct,
know if
but
you
we
can.
stayed there in 20 years.
Guy, I don't have to argue it. You can Google it in 2 seconds and see you're wrong. I'm right. So can you tell me really quick? Do you agree with the war in Iran?
I think it's long overdue. I think
Cool. So let's
Democratic presidents and Republican presidents have been wanting to do it for decades.
Then why didn't they?
Beats me. Timing wasn't right. Whatever.
So, what specifically are the objectives of the conflict, according to the White House?
I could care less.
You don't
Let me
care
ask you
what
this.
the objectives are, but yet you agree with it?
Well, like the last person, I'm a service member of 19 years. So if my job is to go over there and go do things, then I'm going to go over there and go do things.
That's a different conversation. You said you backed the war. What is the goal of the conflict? Because we're the American taxpayers paying for it, and they're paying.
Would it not be better served to ask why I support it?
Yeah, you have to. You support it because of the objectives. That's what I'm asking you. What is the goal of the conflict?
But my objectives and their objectives are probably way different. Their objectives, let's be honest, are probably to back Israel and war and oil, and to make money off war.
No. So the White House objectives are to, Trump claims, the White House claims, their primary objective is to ensure that Iran cannot possess a nuclear weapon, that they cannot develop weapons-grade enriched
I can claim
uranium.
anything.
Okay, so again, do you have some kind of insider information that I'm not aware of?
No, what I'm saying is when we went into Iraq, it was for weapons of mass destruction, right? As a soldier, we didn't find fuck all over there, right? It was a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? This is probably bullshit too. The Vietnam we got into because of a bunch of bullshit. This is probably bullshit too.
So you're admitting
But
this war is probably predicated on a lie?
Yeah. Aren't most wars fucking predicated by lies of old men and suffered through for younger men?
Why would you support
Do you support women's rights? Do you support women's rights?
Yes.
Do you support LGBTQ rights?
Yes. Do
Do you support freedom?
Do you?
Yes, and that's why I would love to bring these people
you
who
support
desperately
trans
want
rights?
these things. Why not? They're people too, right?
You're a guy who votes for policy. Do you know what Trump's policies are on the trans community?
If you are a grown man or grown woman, do whatever you want in your bedroom. I don't care.
But that's not Trump's policy on the transgender
we can disagree on things. I disagree with him on a lot of things.
I know where you're going with this. You're going to try and claim because the Iranian people are oppressed, that's why you support it, right?
Were they not revolting before?
Yes, but I'll dismantle this argument right now. Would true liberation, if liberation was an objective, would liberation involve structuring your own government?
They should be structuring their own government, but I think we should oversee that.
Wait. Liberation involves picking your own leaders, right? If we were to revolt, let's say we all decided enough is enough, these politicians are taking advantage of us, we're going to revolt against our government. If we got to the finish line and Israel was standing there and Netanyahu, and he was like, but wait, I'm going to oversee who you select as your next leader, you would be furious. You would say, well, this isn't true liberation. I'm not liberated unless I get to pick my own. The people get to pick their own leader. But that's not what Donald Trump said. I would also like to add additionally that Donald Trump just said the other day that regime change is not his objective. That his objective is primarily...
Then that's dumb.
That's what
his objective should be a regime change of the biggest funder of terrorism and murders on the planet.
Yeah, but he already stated it's not.
Then I disagree with him. I'm allowed to disagree with a person.
But then you wouldn't support the war. If you don't agree with why he's there, if you don't agree why they're doing it, you can't agree with the conflict. This is an argument that MAGA continuously makes. You don't have some kind of secret insider information about what his ultimate
claimed
goal.
to.
But you said you agree with the war. If you don't agree with the... First of all, let's be clear. You're not really super informed on this conflict, I can tell. if you support the war, you have to support the objectives because that's what they're doing there. That's what they're doing militarily, right? And what
I support the wiping out of any caliphate.
Okay, that's not happening.
Iran wouldn't be a caliphate. We haven't killed multiple of their leaders and wiped out hundreds of their soldiers.
So you killed the supreme leader, right? You killed the supreme leader, and they put the son in there who's 30 years younger and 3 times as angry.
Okay.
Okay, and so how do you think that's going to affect the Iranian people? Do you know Do you know Iran is an Islamic republic and theocracy? By the way, not a caliphate.
Do you know why it was? Do you know why it was?
Yes, the Iranian Revolution. So I don't think
supported by
the United States
and Russia. We supported.
But wait, you just said they're a caliphate. They're not a caliphate. If they have a supreme leader, a cleric that oversees a parliament.
Yeah. If you disagree with it and you go against it, you're not taken out.
But you understand it's a national republic. It's not a transnational caliphate.
So is North Korea.
Okay, what is a caliphate?
For all intents and purposes, it's just a group of Islamic fucking revolutionaries, like ISIS.
Okay, but how is it structured?
That will be a multitude of different groups all working under the same purpose. Yes, Iran doesn't work that, but they have a multitude of groups underneath of them that they support.
Okay, so anyway, I don't think you fully understand what a caliphate is, but that's besides the point. Anyway, they are structured. Do you know what their 4-point strategy is? Do you know what happened when the supreme leader died? For instance, let's break down why it's impossible for regime change, okay, and how the IRGC is structured and how the government is structured. What happened when the supreme leader was killed?
They tried to elect a new one. They got bombed. Then he put his son in.
No. So they had a 3-man council set up immediately after they killed the supreme leader as a part of their 4-point strategy, right? And then they had a stress election, and then they put the son in there. And we've heard nothing since then. Tulsi Gabbard has testified in front of the House Intel Committee that the regime is up and running, that they didn't interrupt the operations of the regime. The regime is currently up and running. But
why would you support people that would throw you off a roof or hang you?
I don't support them. Do you understand what nuance is?
So why do you...
Let me explain. 2 things can be true at the same time. The Iranian
regime
so
I can...
Hold on, guys.
I can disagree with Trump and I can support the war at the same time.
No, you can't, because that's an entirely different scenario. What I'm saying is you can support what I'm about to say. The regime is evil, but you don't support the war. That's an example of nuance. Okay, the regime itself is absolutely oppressive, absolutely hurts their people. But what in your case, you're arguing, well, I support the war because ultimately I want liberation of the Iranian people. You vote for Trump's policies and you say you're advocating for LGBTQIA+. I don't think you know what Trump's policies are, and we can certainly get to that. Okay, but regime change.
He was the first president to support fucking LGBTQ on opening day.
He has anti-trans policy. Do you understand that? Do you know what they're doing, what the Republican Party is doing to the trans community right now?
I'm not a Republican, but freaking
you voted for Trump.
That. Okay, doesn't mean I'm a Republican.
Either way, you voted for Trump. They're his policies. I don't know what to tell you. He says, do you listen to Trump at all? He just said during his address to the nation that we literally attacked the trans community. He does it every single speech he has. The point is liberation. If you're arguing that, well, I support the war because I support liberation. Well, number one, liberation is not an objective of the conflict. But number two, it's impossible when you find out how it's actually structured. The reason he doesn't care about regime change is because he can't accomplish regime change. So what's the result of this? Not being able to accomplish regime change does what? We have a leader who's 30 years younger and 3 times as pissed. How do you think he's going to treat the Iranian people when the United States leaves? Do you think he's suddenly going to start...
He should be killed too.
But that's the point, though. If regime change isn't an objective, you can't support the war because of liberation. Do you understand? Donald Trump would have to say, yes, an ultimate goal of ours is to ensure that the Iranian people are liberated. But if regime change is not a part of his strategy, then you can't support the war. Do you understand that? Because you're putting the Iranian people in a worse circumstance. You're putting a guy in there. The supreme leader was how old? Do you know?
No, I could care less.
86. No, it's relevant. He was 86 years old. 86. The son is 56. Significantly younger and significantly more angry because you've killed his entire family. So he's also an IRGC hardliner, too. He will brutalize the Iranian people, and he's going to. And they could care, and the administration could care less about that. And so that's the point I'm making. You can't support this war because of liberation. It doesn't make any sense.
At what point should it be on the people to stand up and actually do things? Same thing in Afghanistan. The people just rolled over instead of fighting against the Taliban.
In those cases, we structured a government, right? We structured a system to attempt to allow them to survive. But it created a power vacuum, which ultimately empowered extremist organizations like the Taliban, like Al-Qaeda in Iraq, which ultimately became ISIL, the Islamic State. Right? That's another reason why these conflicts they never work, is because when you topple the leadership, you have to stay there. Once you leave, how long did it take the Taliban to overthrow the existing government when the United States left?
It was like 3 days.
I don't even think it was 3 days. I think it was like a day. Iraq, same thing, right? ISIS doesn't exist without the war in Iraq. So negative consequences do come out of these conflicts. It's not just like,
Agreed.
oh, well, we look at it like, well, a worst case scenario, we'll liberate the Iranian people. Well, that'd be great in a perfect world. But we have historical precedent, and if we look at the actual objectives, then we know there is no real positive outcome. This administration,
and it's mostly because our outlook on war has changed. We become more humanitarian, and weak men create hard times. So instead of going in there
case.
like we need to and wipe every single person off the face of the planet, then you have to deal with their sons and their sons' sons and everyone else.
So
we used to deal with that in a proper way, and they would all be killed.
So are you saying we shouldn't consider human life when conducting these military operations, and we would be able to accomplish these goals more easily?
Well, it does make war easier, but it removes that.
Sir, you just
factor.
tried to claim you supported the war because of liberation. Now you're advocating for potentially killing the same people you were just advocating for?
I didn't say kill the revolutionaries. I said kill everyone else.
You can't distinguish that, right? If you're just going to recklessly bomb a country, you're going to kill civilians. Do you know the United States?
Recklessly.
The United States government killed a bunch of children on the initial strike?
And Obama did the same thing.
What about Obama?
I'm saying Obama's policy was more drone-led. So in drone warfare, you kill a lot more.
And I was critical of Obama's drone program, but what instance
and so
are
was
you
Bradley
talking about?
Manley.
Wait, are you saying what about Obama?
He bombed in Yemen.
Guy, I'm critical of Obama's drone program. You're not going to what about Obama to me. You're not looking at a fucking liberal Democrat that's going to just defend Obama. I was critical of his drone program, but these are different scenarios. It's funny how you guys go, what about Obama? The point we're making here is you're advocating for liberation. Now you're already saying, well, let's just bomb the shit out of them and we'd be able to accomplish regime change. Well, that's not, and then you're not giving any consideration to
prove my point.
Hold on. You're not.
After World War
II,
what did we do with the Nazis?
You're not.
We hung them. We tried them. We killed them. They're gone.
What is this guy
eradicated.
Arguing? Yes.
That's what I'm saying is we should do the same thing in Iran.
But
if they're IGRC members, they should be killed.
That's not what you were just saying. You were saying we should be more reckless in our approach because it's easier to accomplish.
I never said reckless. I said we should be more ruthless, not reckless.
You said it's easier to accomplish our goal that way if we don't give consideration to human life. You just
human life as an IGCRC life.
But do you think that if you're just carpet bombing a country into submission, you're not going to kill civilians the way that you're talking about?
Will you break a few eggs to make an omelet?
Oh my God.
There is an acceptable
guy. The
part
point. Hold on. Stop.
of
The
casualty.
point I'm making, okay, is you claimed liberation was the reason you support the war. At the same time, you're saying, well, if we kill some of them, then so what? At least we're accomplishing the goal. You can't advocate for liberation and then advocate for their death.
I'm not advocating for the total death of everyone in Iran.
Oh, not the total
I'm
death,
saying
just
is that,
some death? How many? How
Yes.
many is acceptable, sir? How many is acceptable, the guy who just tried to advocate for liberation? How many human beings dying, innocent human beings, by the way, won't be able to distinguish whether that's adults or children? So how many babies have to die for it to still be considered liberation? Can you give me a number, please?
I mean, how many babies died when fucking Hamas went to
Guys,
Israel?
do you know what whataboutism is?
Yeah.
Why are you talking about I know Israel is I'm anti-Zionist. You voted for Trump. He's there because of Israel. You're pivoting to something else. I'm asking you a question. How many that was wrong. That's a genocide. So are you acknowledging that too would be a genocide?
And it's a good one.
Oh my God.
To make my point, that is
It's
a good one.
Those
the people like that should not be, they're not commonplace in modern society.
They were babies.
If they, be it Palestine, is advocating for the total death of anyone who doesn't convert or anyone else to Islam, then they shouldn't be around.
Oh my God. Do you guys hear this guy? This guy that was just arguing for liberation and said, do you care about LGBTQIA people being free in Iran, is now saying that babies shouldn't be around in Palestine.
If they're going to be raised to hate LGBTQ and hang you and throw you off a roof, why would you want them?
Oh my God. They're babies. Do you realize what percent of the population was a child in Palestine? Like 50% of the population were children.
So you're not for that, but y'all chant from the river to the sea, which is a genocide against Israel.
Don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh. Wait, now you have a problem with genocide? It just depends on what population of people it is. Guy, your take is absolutely disgusting, but I'm glad that I was able to prove through the course of this conversation that you don't actually care about human rights, which you tried to lean on, right? Oh, I'm a human rights advocate, and I really just want the liberation of the Iranian people, and that's why I want this war, without really being, you don't really understand this conflict to the degree which you should to have that conversation. But I'm glad I was able to dismantle your argument in front of everybody, because you guys
for the
often
people that
like
sit
to,
there
you
and
guys
support the same
often like
values
to
and
take
everything
this
as
more.
me, yes.
You guys like
I don't support the life of people who want to kill me
They're
or children or anything else
babies.
like that.
They're babies.
And they will be raised how? And they will be
Oh
raised
my
under
God.
Sharia law.
Do you
to
know
what?
you're literally, what you're doing right now, you're perpetuating the same ideas that the Nazis perpetuated, yet you're saying you support Israel? Do you know that's what the Nazis did? They're going to be raised to believe this and that, and so we should exterminate them prior to that? You're literally perpetuating the same ideology while advocating for a Jewish state.
And that's
you
how war
guys
was
have
fought.
you guys have lost the plot. You have
And that's how
absolutely
war used
lost
to be
the plot.
And war used to be fought that way. That way we won't have one war after another war after another war.
Really?
What
That's why
a
we
great-
had plenty of wars after World War II, right?
Because we weren't going in there and doing shit properly, just like they said in Braveheart. The
So
problem
what
with
is properly?
Scotland is it's full of Scots, right?
So are you?
Well, the problem with
are you
Iran is it's
acknowledging?
full of Islamist terrorists.
So wait, are you acknowledging doing it properly would have been unaliving babies during World War II as well, deliberately?
I mean, if the Nazis' end goal was a German fucking Reich, then yeah.
This guy is completely sick.
I didn't agree.
I just
I
want
never said I agreed
guys.
with
I
it.
want
I
to
said if
point
that
this
was the
out,
Nazis'
right? I
goal.
want to point this
Words
out.
matter.
This guy's a Zionist, right? But I want to point this out.
I'm not a Zionist.
You are a Zionist, but he just quite literally said the exact same thing that the Schmatzi said. Right? That we should exterminate children so they don't grow up. He doesn't even understand. This isn't the first time I've heard this argument. I've heard this, I don't know how many times, but this is what these guys do, right? They argue for a Jewish state. They argue for greater Israel, but at the same time, they're perpetuating Nazi ideology. extermination.
I never said I want
of
a
children.
greater Israel. I actually don't like
Sure.
their government.
Listen,
I just think
I'm
they have
sure
a
you
decent
don't.
people.
Have a good day, okay? I'm glad I was able to dismantle your argument in front of everyone because it was a gross one. But yet, remember how that argument started, folks. He really cares about the war because he wants to liberate the Iranian people. Sick. I mean, it doesn't get sicker than that. If you are a Trump supporter, I'd like you to call in 908-652-3703. To anyone advocate to unalive children is just disgusting. I mean, there's just absolutely no. I mean, I can't believe that I cannot believe that there are people out there that are okay with unaliving children. Like, I cannot believe. Like, I often wonder, are these people parents? Because I can't imagine being a parent looking at your own children and advocating for other children to die because you don't agree with their parents' belief system or religion. Oh my God. Yikes. Guys, I appreciate the people who are contributing to the gifting goal. There's about 2 minutes left on it. If you guys would like to support it, you can. Today is Easter. Happy Easter, everybody, by the way. I just wanted to come on and give you guys a little bit of a live stream today. If you guys haven't hit the subscribe button, I would appreciate it. Consider becoming a member of the channel. If you're new here, I'm starting to build a YouTube because I used to debate on TikTok, but TikTok's kind of going downhill. It's basically in the trash can now. TikTok is basically completely, just shit now. You get strikes, you get banned. It's just a trash app. It's quickly heading downhill. So I'm starting to do YouTube more and more and more. So become a part of that community. You can hit the subscribe button for free over there. I would appreciate it.
Call from
Michael.
Michael, what's going on? Are you a Trump supporter?
I used to be.
So you're not anymore?
No.
All right, I'm looking for Trump supporters, Michael, but you can give me your take on why you're not anymore. I'm sure it pertains to this most recent war.
I'll make it quick. Trump has not delivered on anything that he promised. Hasn't delivered on the wall. Hasn't delivered on the Doge checks. Hasn't delivered on the tariff checks. Hasn't delivered on mass deportations. Has not delivered on no new wars. In fact, he is starting to look like a shill for the Israeli lobby. He is not America first. So I'm upset and I'm done.
Thank you. Hold on one second. Boxer, thank you so much for the $19.99 super chat. Appreciate you, Boxer. I think Trump just literally mentioned the Doge dividend yesterday or something, or the day before. He said they're still going to give was that the $2,000 he said, or originally was $5,000, but didn't he say he was going to give a $2,000? Was that the tariff rebate or the Doge dividend? I can't remember. But he did just say that he was going to do that, and then they asked, well, wouldn't you need congressional approval? And he's like, no, I think we can do it without Congress. But I mean, I don't believe you're getting them either, so I would agree with you there. So he definitely has not kept his promises. I mean, look, hashtag no new wars was the theme, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the one that sat on the debate stage in 2016, the Republican primaries, and ripped Jeb Bush about his brother W. Bush and the Iraq and all that stuff. I mean, that's what Trump said.
No, you're 100% right. And it's funny that you say that because that's really the thing that killed Jeb Bush's campaign, because Jeb Bush was unwilling to commit to the fact that war was a mistake and kind of was wish-washy because he didn't want to throw his brother under the bus. Trump took advantage of it, pushed him up against, put him in a corner, and he basically that is quite literally where things turned. That's why Trump became president ultimately. That was a turning point in that thing. But this second term, his campaign was like literally about isolationism.
He said he would stop all the wars. He said he was going to stop Ukraine.
Yeah.
Hasn't delivered. Yeah. I mean, he just hasn't delivered on anything. And this was my first time ever voting Republican. I'm a registered independent, but The 2 times that I have voted prior to this election, I voted for Democrats. I thought Trump was a new breed, but he just, I'm sorry, he's just looking like a typical Israeli shill at this point. Like he's fighting Israel's wars.
He is,
and this is crazy.
Yeah,
and
it is.
So I'm sorry, he didn't deliver.
Did you see, before you go really quick? Did you see what he posted this morning?
I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it
disturbing.
Doesn't get worse than that. Disturbing is right. All right. Take care, man. Have a good one.
All right. Thank you.
You would think that Christians would be outraged. You would think that on Easter morning saying something like that would be like, what the fuck? Why would he say that? I mean, they're like, well, he's joking. Well, he's not joking. He's mocking is what he's doing. He's mocking Iran. Look, people, I'm just going to tell you right now, right? And I'm very, by the way, very thankful that they ended up finding that service member, because God forbid they had captured that person. The IRGC, that was going to be ugly. That was going to be ugly. I mean, so I'm really happy that the IRGC didn't get a hold of this guy. But at the end of the day, Trump is probably going to escalate this war anyway over the strait. I don't know if he thinks, angry Truth Social posts. Again, this is why you don't get into these conflicts. I want you to understand our intelligence agencies couldn't even testify whether or not they informed the president to what degree Iran would choke the strait as a retaliatory method. That's their responsibility, to conduct a threat analysis and to say, okay, well, we shouldn't do this because this is what they're going to do and this is how it's going to affect the global economy. That wasn't done. This guy's just like, doing whatever he wants based on very little information. Clearly, because he thought that if he killed the supreme leader, he'd be able to, spark an uprising in the country, and that ultimately did not work. Judy, thank you so much, Judy. Appreciate you, Judy. Yeah, we got a lot of angry Trump supporters in the comments. We always do. I mean, look, they're angry because they know it's coming to an end. That's why. It's coming to an end. It's hard to believe this guy's going to make it through another couple years, but I mean, at the end of the day, I am very concerned about this conflict and it escalating to a degree that's going to require boots on the ground. This is an administration that doesn't even dismiss the idea of a draft and openly states the president doesn't want to take that off the table, because why would he remove tools that he may potentially need? People don't even realize how close we are to just all-out conflict, World War type situation. We are very close. It is deeply, deeply troubling. And we have the most incompetent, unreasonable person at the helm. Cybertruck says, we love ICE and Trump MAGA strong. Wow, that's profound. Who's Walter? Walter White? Well, Walter White is a guy who lives at 308 Negra Arroyo Lane in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He's basically a chemistry teacher who was diagnosed with cancer, and he ended up becoming a meth dealer. Yeah, that's who he is. That Walter, you mean? Or are you talking about a different Walter? I love the Republicans that say they think I should go fight in Iran. I'm advocating against the war. I mean, I don't understand what you mean. Like, I'm against the war. I've been against the war since the very beginning. I'm against most conflict. I don't agree with war. So why would I go fight for Israel? Does that make any sense to you? You say that to someone who's advocating for war. This person says, can someone explain what's wrong with the IRGC capturing the pilot who's bombing the Iraq? Wrong in what sense? I mean, what I'm saying is the United States would not be willing to hostage negotiate, and I think it would be a pretty bad outcome for that individual. So do they have the right to? Yes. But obviously I'm not going to advocate for an American citizen to, be held by the IRGC or hurt by the IRGC. But yeah, they would have the right to do it. Absolutely. No doubt about it. Doesn't mean I'm going to hope for it, but they would absolutely have every right to do it, just like they have a right to defend themselves. I'm just not going to advocate for U.S. service members to die, just like I'm not going to advocate for anyone to die. Nunya, I honestly don't know. I was actually kidding. I don't know if that's who he was referring to. Richard, Iran is not threatening our freedom. This is the same narrative that was perpetuated after 9/11, that Osama bin Laden was attacking our freedom and our democracy. That's a crock of shit. That your freedom is not in danger because of Iran. Iran was Tulsi Gabbard couldn't even provide that there was an imminent threat within the next 90 days, and you're talking about freedom. There's no threat to your freedom from Iran. This is all about Israel. Guys, this isn't me assuming or making this up. The Secretary of State said this. Do you believe Marco Rubio? If you're a Republican and you believe Marco Rubio and you respect what Marco Rubio says, then let's take a listen to what Marco Rubio said about this. This isn't me making this up. I'm not sure why Republicans don't understand this or haven't seen this, whatever the case is. This isn't me making this up. This is the words of Marco Rubio.
An Israeli action. We knew that would have forced Israel's hand. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action.
So if there was going to be an Israeli action and these were preemptive strikes to prevent Israel from retaliating against U.S. military bases, then you no longer can provide that they were an imminent threat. That's all there is to it. A lot of Republicans want Marco Rubio to take Donald Trump's place. If you believe Marco Rubio, then you have to dismiss the imminent threat point. They are not fighting for your freedom, Jade. Okay, they're not fighting for your freedom. No war. Thank you for the $1.99. Appreciate you. Said I can't unsee Kristi Noem. I'm traumatized. I didn't even look at it, to be honest. I saw one picture when I scrolled by. I read the story. I honestly didn't even look at it. What I do think is rich, though, is that Kristi Noem is asking for her privacy in this time. Well, I was in Minnesota. She wasn't granting anyone else their privacy, including their Fourth Amendment. So I have no respect for her privacy whatsoever. Mike, why don't you call in, Mike? Why do Republicans always think that I'm in my mom's basement? Like, that's always their point. You're in mommy's basement. You're in mommy's basement. Are they in their mom's basement? Is that why they think that? Like, they must be in their mom's basement or something, and they think that I'm in my mom's basement. No, I'm not in my mom's basement. Are you? That's the question. Are you? No, I think we have a significant issue with our political system. Political system there's way too much foreign influence. No thanks to Republicans, but there's no shortage of foreign influence across the political spectrum. And that, I mean, I would start there. That's a major issue. Money, and if we really truly wanted to fix it, I mean, this system as it is, you would have to entirely remove the money, special interests and things like that. These PACs. All right, I want Jason to call in. He keeps saying, man, freedom comes with a price. I mean, Jason, you can call in and tell me what specifically you're talking about. But Iran, we're not in Iran because of your freedom, my guy. I don't know what you don't understand, but we're not in Iran. They're not fighting for your freedom. Iran's not a threat to your freedom. They don't even have the missile technology to reach the United States. They can't substantiate that they were in possession of weapons-grade enriched uranium. So whether or not they were able to develop a nuclear weapon, Benjamin Netanyahu's been making that claim for several decades. They were just no threat to the United States. They just weren't. 210 ring, Christopher. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Christopher. You're in their basement. They're just projecting. That's what they do. I mean, I listen, the sad reality is we have to go down with the people that actually support this bullshit, but everybody should be calling for the 25th today after that truth. That was deeply disturbing. Still talking about Biden. I just don't get it. I don't understand, like, why Republicans are still... Biden shit his britches, this guy said. Michael, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Richard, we claimed in June that we destroyed their enrichment facilities in what was referred to as Operation Midnight Hammer. Donald Trump claimed that that was the most successful military operation ever conducted in cooperation with Israel. So if we conducted a military operation designed to destroy their enrichment facilities, claimed the operation was a great success, how could we possibly be claiming they're in possession of weapons-grade enriched uranium just months later? You are pro-Putin. No, I am anti-Putin. Putin is a human rights violator, horrible guy, dangerous guy, regularly threatens the West with nuclear deployment capabilities. All right, well, call in and stop crying. I don't have a lot of time today, so I tried to hop on and, give you guys somewhat of a live stream today. Putin is a war criminal, yes. Iran is allowed to have other locations, enrichment facilities, but that's not what they claimed, AFD. And Donald Trump also clarified, because there was a couple things that came out immediately after. What were they? Well, that Iran potentially had enrichment facilities that they weren't aware of, and that there were trucks parked outside the enrichment facilities because Donald Trump had given them advance warning about dropping those bunker busters. When he was approached with, hey, they parked trucks outside, and we've heard that they potentially have enrichment facilities that Israeli intelligence wasn't aware of, he said that's propaganda. It's not true. We destroyed their capabilities, and they're years away from developing a nuclear weapon. You can't just change it. Okay? This is what the president said.
Call from
Mark.
Mark, what's going on? Are you a Trump supporter?
I'm independent.
Who'd you vote for, Mark?
I voted for Trump this year.
That's a Trump supporter, Mark. Do you support the war in Iran? And what do you think about his truth today? What do you think about his truth this morning, Easter morning? And do you support the war in Iran?
I don't.
Okay, well, I don't know why you're calling in then. Do you realize
I'm calling because it's the better option out of the two, because Joe Biden was terrible.
Okay,
and
well, did Joe Biden take Israel's...
democracy, we didn't get the option to vote. They just put Kamala Harris on a pedestal and said, this is the chosen one.
That's not true. The delegates gave her the votes.
That should never happen.
Yeah, but the delegates gave her the votes. They didn't just do what you're saying. Can you tell me who was...
That's why I voted for the orange man, because that's just ridiculous to me.
Okay, well, can I explain to you? The delegates gave her the votes. Can you tell me who was challenging Kamala Harris?
No one.
Okay, so then what would you like to happen again? It was too late to have an open...
I would have liked Ron Shapiro. I would have liked Buttigieg. I would have liked them to have a primary.
Buttigieg.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not
but
that I like the guy. I'm just saying some options.
Okay, but I'm telling you, they get the delegates.
That's exactly what a dictatorship is. That's the machine.
Okay, but what I'm explaining to you is the delegates gave her the votes, so it's not what you think. And if there was no challenger and Democrats supported her nomination, then I don't know what else you would like. I mean,
because they were wrong. First off, they started by saying nothing's wrong with Joe Biden and he ran. And then when he screwed up so bad in the debate, they said, "Oh my God, we stand no chance." And they kicked him to a curb like like crap, and then they put Kamala in. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, so all I'm trying to say to you is that it's not a dictatorship, okay? Because
Closest thing to one.
It's not, though, okay? Because the delegates gave her the votes, as I've tried to say multiple times, but you keep skipping over that. Who did you vote for before Trump this time? Who'd you vote for in 2020?
I didn't vote in 2020.
Who'd you vote for in 2016?
Hillary.
So you voted for Trump simply because you didn't like Kamala Harris?
No, I didn't like Joe Biden. I didn't like what they did from 2020 to 2024.
Did Joe Biden take the bait on Iran? Did Joe Biden?
The way they locked us down, not just here in the U.S., but worldwide, and everybody follows steps by what the United States of America does, I think that was terrible. And the fear they put in people by saying, if you don't vaccinate yourself, you're going to kill your grandmother, you're going to kill your loved ones, you're going to do all this, and have you locked down and say, the beach is dangerous, the parks are dangerous for kids, going to school is dangerous.
So
that is what threw me off.
So you know that was Trump, right? That wasn't Biden.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
It started, the pandemic started with Trump.
Who was president? Who was in president? Who was president? Sir, calm down. Jesus. Who was president when they issued the federal social distancing guidelines?
When the outbreak started, Trump was president.
Who was president when they issued the social distancing guidelines? That didn't happen under Biden. That's what you're talking about? I'm asking you. Because Biden ended the federal public health emergency in May of 2023. So who issued the federal social distancing guidelines? Was it Trump or Biden?
It was Biden. It started in 2021.
You're incorrect. It started on March 16th, 2020. That happened under Trump. You don't know what you're talking about. So if that's your reason why you voted for Kamala Harris, you quite literally voted for the person who was president when they issued the federal distancing guidelines. So you're wrong.
Well, you're wrong.
Okay. Why does Trump take responsibility for Operation Warp Speed?
I'm not aware what Operation Warp Speed is.
The vaccine that you said you didn't agree with?
Yeah.
Was that Trump or Biden?
That's Biden.
No, it wasn't. It was Trump. You are totally way off. I think we've just uncovered that those aren't the real reasons. Because if they are, then guess what, sir? You voted for the wrong person.
Maybe you're right, maybe I'm wrong, but I can assure you this. Trump left office in, 2020? When did the pandemic start? The beginning, February 2020. It was just the beginning. They still didn't have it.
When did Trump leave office? When did Trump leave office?
2021.
Right. When did the pandemic start?
It started around February, officially around February.
Of 2020.
Yeah.
Right. So your point is, so again, who was president when who issued the federal social distancing guidelines? It was
you do
Trump.
Realize that the guidelines changed every month. It kept on changing.
Biden is the person who literally ended the public health emergency and avoided new shutdowns during Delta, during the new waves.
I've been cross country during that time, and I could tell you, it was during Joe Biden's presidency.
You're incorrect. It was during Trump. There was no federal nationwide lockdown. States largely governed the lockdowns, but Trump.
Then it came down to state by state.
Right. So how would Biden be responsible for that?
If it's a blue state, they're going to follow the guidelines of what he says.
How was Biden responsible for that? What I'm saying is the social distancing guidelines that you're referring to, people had to stay apart and stuff, happened under Trump. That was Trump that did that, staying away from people. But there was no nationwide lockdowns. Those states individually governed what you're talking about for the most part. So how would that be the fault of Biden? Biden actually avoided lockdowns remember when Delta happened and everyone was freaking out and the cases started coming back, and Biden literally avoided lockdowns during that time.
be mandated to get vaccinated. He enforced that first responders be mandated to get vaccinated, and there's a big fallout and there's a big turnover.
So you don't like the vaccine then?
I think it should be optional. It's up to you. It shouldn't be mandated.
But I'm saying, do you agree with it? Do you think it's important? Do you think it's good?
I think it's important for our elderly people that got Lyme disease or diabetic or anything.
But you don't think first responders should have it? I'm just curious.
No, I don't. If you're perfectly healthy, I don't think so.
But what about giving it to someone else? What if you gave it to an elderly person? You literally just said, hold on, you literally just said, I just want to point this out, guys. This caller just said, I think the vaccine is good for like elderly people and stuff like that so they don't die. And then said, but I don't think a first responder should have a vaccine.
Yeah, because first responders are not 60-year-old.
But they're dealing with elderly people. What about people who work in EMS? They're dealing with elderly people, right?
Okay, so what? Getting vaccinated, what is that going to do?
Prevent them from. It stops the spread. It limits the spread.
You still believe that crap?
It did.
Because it proved that
it did. It did. It effectively did.
And it's like the stupid mask, the N95. Come on, man.
Oh, my God. This guy is...
brainwashed.
You guys, I mean, honestly, the people that believe this shit are just complete morons. I mean, it's hard to believe.
If everybody got vaccinated, it would stop the spread, and everybody would be happy campers, and nobody would get
How's
sick.
How's COVID right now?
I'm still breathing.
Right. Did the vaccine contribute to that, you think?
How's COVID?
Oh my God!
I don't hear about it.
Listen, dude. Listen. This is just beyond stupid. It's not even worth discussing at this point. You don't even know who was president when certain things happened. It's just painful.
It started under Donald Trump. I agree with you. Yeah.
But you literally complained about the social distancing. Sir, shut up. Shut up. You complained about the social distancing guidelines and said they happened under Biden. They happened under Trump. You also thought Operation Warp Speed happened under Biden. It also was Trump.
Yep.
So you're wrong on both ends.
Yep, I'm sure I'm wrong.
What else didn't you like about Kamala Harris specifically, besides the fact that, do you know what, by the way, do you understand what I mean when I say the delegates gave her the votes?
The delegate, no, I don't.
So do you understand how someone gets nominated?
I thought the people elect them.
What do you mean?
I thought that they go through a primary and we vote. And
but did we have a primary? But did we?
The party.
Right, but how? So let me ask you a question. So hold on. Let's say, all right. So
no, I'm not aware.
All right, I'm trying to explain this to you. So let's just pretend for a second we had an open primary. Can you tell me what that would look like?
It would be 3 people on stage debating each other.
No, but I mean, with the time frame that we had, how would we have the time?
They had Joe Biden start off for re-election.
Say that again?
When he's a mummy.
Trump is a mummy. I mean, you support him, so I don't know. Calling Biden a mummy at this point is laughable. Trump's falling asleep all the time. But I'm saying with the time, you understand Joe Biden dropping out late obviously affected those things. But ultimately, the delegates gave her the votes, so it's not like the people didn't have a say. You understand?
People just don't care. That's what I don't like about the party. This is our person. Blue no matter who.
I don't think you understand this. You don't understand this enough. I'm trying to get through to you, but I don't think you're listening to me, so it's kind of like I feel like I'm wasting my time. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So stay ignorant, dude. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Why even waste my time? Why even try? If I'm trying to explain something to you, you're not listening, what's the point? But let me just say this really quick, guys. You calling Joe Biden sleepy at this point is laughable when Trump falls asleep every single second of the day. Every single second. He falls asleep at cabinet meetings. He falls asleep during press conferences when he's not speaking. I mean, I love the triggered Republicans in the chat. It's so satisfying to see Trump supporters. They never have a legitimate argument. It's just, host is a waste of time. Host is liberal. Host is Democrat. Listen, here's my thing for Trump supporters. You ready? I just want to drink my fish, my truck, drink my beer. I just want to mow my grass. Guys, Trump supporters just want to mow their grass. Just let them mow their grass, man. Just let them mow it. All right? That's all they want to do. They just want to mow their grass. Josh, are you a Trump supporter?
I am.
Josh, do you support the war in Iran?
I do.
Why?
Because you have a terrorist regime that's been saying death to America for how long, and you look up and every time it's something, they are trying to kill us. So then the leader, the Ayatollah, agreed that 2 of the assassination attempts he was responsible for.
That's what the U.S. government said.
Well, he claimed that he was responsible for 2 of them.
I don't remember. I don't remember if he's thinking. I don't remember if he took claim for it or not. But regardless, I don't know. That's what the U.S. government said.
Yeah, okay, but if somebody claims that they tried to kill you, do you think that we just supposed to sit back and just let them keep trying until they succeed?
The regime takes credit for all sorts of shit. I mean, it doesn't mean it's true. I don't actually believe that that's true. No, I just looked it up. Iran's supreme leader did not take credit for that. U.S. official and Trump made that claim. It's actually on PolitiFact if you want to go look. U.S. officials and Trump allege that there were Iranian plots to assassinate him, but the supreme leader never said. Iran actually denied involvement, and there are no verified statements from the supreme leader. So, no, you're wrong.
I'm wrong about that. Okay. So what else? What else do you have to?
Why do you
say
support
about
the
Trump?
war?
Why do I support the war? Look at what they're doing to their own people over there in Iran. So that's another thing. So do you agree with them basically, the stuff that they got to go through, the people, not the military, not the Ayatollah, what they're doing to the people of Iran?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I just had this conversation with another guy. He argued the same thing, liberation. So you're arguing that liberation is an objective of the administration, or you just think that it's a side benefit of the war?
Well, it's both, because of the thing is,
It's not. It is not. It is not. The White House does not have liberation of the Iranian people as a primary objective of the conflict. In fact, Donald Trump just said 2 days ago that he doesn't even care about regime change, and that regime change was never an objective of his. Well, you can't liberate the Iranian people without regime change.
You can, because if you got to think, if you eliminate the RGC and let the people come in and create their own establishment, their own government, we're doing something. Look at Afghanistan. Look at how when all the years that we spent 8 years in Afghanistan. And
no, we spent 20 years in Afghanistan.
I'm talking about far as in when we initially
spent
went over
20 years in Afghanistan. And the Taliban took over the government 48 hours after we left. So I'm not sure why you're bringing up Afghanistan. That actually proves my point. Let me dismantle your 2 other points here, though, that you made. You said if we dismantle the IRGC, then the people will be able to rise against the supreme leader. Do you know what the Mosaic Doctrine is?
What is it?
The Mosaic Doctrine is a restructured military strategy that Iran has after studying the U.S. and Israeli military for the last several decades. What the IRGC does is they break down into 31 different commands over 31 different provinces, making it impossible to defeat the IRGC. You would have to spend, first of all, you'd have to put boots on the ground, and you would need probably to occupy it for as long as you did in Afghanistan to even have a chance. But we never dismantled the Taliban because they used certain tactics, not exactly like this. The IRGC is far more structured and has more in terms of weaponry. But I'm just saying in terms of guerrilla warfare, they put belt to ass for 20 years. The U.S. has far better military equipment, but we didn't win, did we? Well, they use those same style of tactics, right? And the reason they break up into these different groups is because they want to survive decapitation. So even if you kill one of those groups, this group still operates independently. And even if you were to kill the supreme leader and kill the regime, that group still fights regardless of whether or not they're communicating with leadership. So it's just a military strategy that allows them to survive as long as possible with the goal of exhausting the U.S. military and government economically and politically. So this is the point, dude. When it comes to liberation, if liberation was an objective, which you claimed it was, would true liberation involve choosing your own leaders?
Well, for the people of there, yes, because you got to think.
Well, Donald Trump already said that he'd be choosing the leader, and that they need to be nice to Israel. Imagine if we revolted against our own government, sir. Imagine if we revolted as a people. We got tired of this existing government and we revolted, right? And there was a revolution, and we got to the finish line, and Benjamin Netanyahu was standing at the White House door, if still standing, and he was like, "Yep, now I get to choose your leader." You'd be like, "Well, this isn't true liberation, right? This is just a different regime." You can, and I would also add, if you look at like history, you brought up Afghanistan and Iraq. We can look at those circumstances actually resulted in creating a power vacuum that ultimately resulted in empowering extremist organizations like ISIS and the Taliban. So it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. At that
point in time, America was funding those extremist organizations. So you can't say that it's just a power vacuum. If we are, you got to think, from president to president, Trump is the only president that came in and said, you know what, fuck it, we gonna stop doing this with these certain people and stop doing that with these certain people. When he stopped all of that, that's when everything basically, you gotta look at back when Bush was in, when Clinton was in, everybody said Iran was going to be a problem. They snuck and let North Korea become the major power that they was. But the crazy thing is, everybody knew that Iran was going to fuck North Korea, because the North Korea just want to do what, like, they want to make sure that they just not left out of the party.
Can you tell me what makes Iran more dangerous than North Korea?
Because Iran will kill. What did they say at the beginning of the war? When flat out they said, we going to set the whole Middle East on fire.
Cool. So does North Korea. North Korea says they're going to bomb the United States all the time. So does Russia. Vladimir Putin threatens the West with nuclear deployment all the time. He's done it several times through the course of the war in Ukraine. So what makes Iran? Because you understand legally, you need some kind of hostility defense, right? You need to claim you need to prove there's an imminent threat. You can't just go into countries and topple their leadership. What makes Iran more dangerous than North Korea?
Because they told us that they was going. They literally told the United States that they had after we blew up their shit, they still was coming back with a nuclear plan to develop within the next couple of weeks. Before we just got their ass this time.
Sir,
and then they said that wait, because they said that they didn't have weapons that could reach over 2,000 kilometers, and what happens now? They got shit that could reach over 3,000.
They cannot reach the United States.
You saying imminent threat, but we have bases all over the Middle East. So you saying that, look at Beirut. So you saying that it's just like everything is just for nothing, so they can fuck us up?
All right, so let me answer now. Thank you. Why did the Secretary of State say that there was an Israeli threat and we were launching preemptive strikes to prevent retaliation against U.S. military bases if Iran is the imminent threat?
Who or what? You said the secretary. Who are you talking about?
Marco Rubio.
And what did Rubio always say? Like from the jump, yes, they are an imminent threat. They can reach.
He didn't say that.
weapons.
No, he didn't. I'll literally play it right now. He said that Israel. No, he didn't. You're wrong. He said that Israel was going to attack Iran, and that we launched preemptive strikes to prevent Iran from retaliating. Stop. Sir, please let me finish. Okay, you've been talking a lot. He said Israel was going to attack Iran. I can play it right now. Do you want me to play it?
Go ahead. No, go ahead, because I know exactly what you're saying. He said, what did he say?
Let's play it, folks. Let's play it. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to put you on hold, and you can listen. Sir. So you can listen to it. Pull up my live. You got to pull up my live stream to listen to it. Okay.
All right, I got you.
Have forced Israel's hand. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action.
Also, to address this guy's second 2 points, because he's just incredibly wrong. They don't have the missile technology to reach the United States. If we destroyed their enrichment facilities, Trump has not clarified that operation wasn't a success or that they had secret facilities somewhere we weren't aware of, then it would be impossible for them to be in possession of weapons-grade enriched uranium. Furthermore, I'd like to say that Benjamin Netanyahu has been perpetuating the narrative that Israel was in possession of weapons-grade enriched uranium for the last several decades. He's been saying 2 weeks for 35 years. So if Israel is going to launch a strike against Iran and we're launching preemptive strikes to prevent them from retaliating against U.S. military bases, then that's not an imminent threat, okay? They're simply retaliating against being attacked. Got it?
I got you, but at the end of the day, like I say, I still agree with everything that's going on.
Bro gets proven wrong and just goes, at the end of the day, I still agree.
You keep saying the imminent attack to force and them reaching us. If anything, like you say, if Israel was going to attack them, they was going to attack us.
That's not an imminent threat, sir. You can't just, sir, Iran has a right to defend themselves. If you attack a country, you can't claim them retaliating is the imminent threat. If you're in support of a military if you're in support, who gives them these weapons? If you're in support of a military operation that attacks another country and they retaliate by striking you, you can't then be like, well, they attacked us. You attack them first. You understand? They have a right to defend themselves. It's absurd for you to claim it's an imminent threat.
I believe that it was an imminent threat at point blank period because at the end of the day, they always check death to America. Every president said they was going to do something about it until this president came in.
Then why didn't they? Why didn't they? Why didn't Biden do it?
Okay, was it a problem when Barack Obama went into Syria?
Why didn't Biden do it?
Was it a problem when Barack Obama went into Syria?
I have a major. I don't want the United States in the Middle East at all. Saying what about Obama is not going to be a gotcha with me, bro. Can you tell me why didn't Biden invade Iran?
Because Biden was funding them the entire time. You
have no idea what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't, but you got to think about
the JCPOA was ripped up under the Trump administration, not the Biden administration. You understand that the Biden administration didn't you're completely lost. This is going to take such a long time to explain. Look, guy, Donald Trump claimed that the Iran nuclear deal was garbage and that he could renegotiate a better deal. He tore that deal up. I'm not saying the deal was perfect, but I'm saying it allowed for the most intrusive inspections we've ever had. He tore that deal up, and then he said he would renegotiate a better deal. Instead of renegotiating a better deal, he gets reelected and conducts a military operation destroying their enrichment facilities. He claims he knocked them back years in their development of nuclear weapons, right? And then just months later, he's doing the same thing Benjamin Netanyahu's been doing for 35 years, claiming that Iran is in possession of a nuclear weapon. What specifically is our government, what is our military doing right now? Okay, specifically, when we conducted that previous military operation, we had to drop bunker busters. Do you know what bunker busters are?
Yep.
Okay, so these bombs specifically designed to destroy these facilities that are buried under the ground, right?
Underground.
So, because they're difficult to destroy otherwise. Can you tell me what specifically we're doing militarily right now to prevent them from ever developing a nuclear weapon? Because I think you're actually providing them more incentive. You killed his entire family. We now have a supreme leader who's twice as radical as his father, who's an IRGC hardliner and has more incentive to develop a nuclear weapon than his father did. Because now you came in there and you killed his entire family. Why wouldn't he? So what militarily are we doing to prevent them from ever creating a nuclear weapon? Because Donald Trump said this was an investment in our children's future. What are we doing militarily right now specifically to prevent them from ever developing that technology, that weaponry?
We dismantling everything that they have, and we go literally, the people will rise up and take the country. Just sit back and wait. Don't stop criticizing the president and everything. Y'all
Did you just say they're going to rise up and take the country? Trump just said he doesn't care about regime change, guy. He wants to clear the Strait of Hormuz and leave because they know it was a mistake. He acts like it's a surprise that they're choking the strait when everybody knew they were going to choke the strait. All you have to do is look at a map.
Yes, but listen. Can y'all just stop panicking? Because y'all want him to fail, and that's the thing. Can y'all just sit back and let him work? That's my thing.
Dude, no one wants him to fail. We live here. We want him to stop doing dumb shit. And us having to pay for it. We're done paying for his stupid decisions.
Oh, so all of the LGBTQ shit, that was okay for us. I know, let's go, because this is, y'all say the shit that we have to pay for, but they was literally willing to pay for people's kids to get, mutilated.
That's not
for
true.
their what?
Not true.
Oh my God.
Not
so
true.
In California, that wasn't a bill that they were trying to.
You don't know what you're talking about.
That wasn't a bill.
You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. Medically, when we talk about gender, just specifically talking about. And again, I don't want to. Why am I even allowing you to pivot to the transgender community? Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut the fuck up! Goodbye. Why am I even allowing you to pivot to the transgender community? We're talking about the war in Iran. I need to stop letting Trump supporters pivot to stupidity. I really do. We're talking about the war in Iran, and you want to talk about 1% of the population that you have an issue with, guy? I'm talking about the war in Iran. You think this guy's pivoting to the transgender community? Jesus Christ. I mean, I've explained this so many times about this kind of thing. I'm not even going to allow him to pivot to that because it's just, it's painful, okay? It's painful. I'm not even going to allow you to do it. So if you're a Trump supporter, you can call in 908-652-3703. Guys, looks like we have a guy who's mad in the chat here. His name is Steve. Steve Poon. Guys, click on his profile. You're going to laugh your ass off. Seriously, hold on. Let me bring this up, guys. I want you guys to look at this really quick. This dude is seriously like saying horrible shit in the chat to me. I just want you to click that real quick. I want you guys to click that real quick, and I want you to laugh. You guys see that? By the way, I gotta go here shortly, but guys, I would appreciate contributing to the super chat goal. I put one up there. I would appreciate it. Yes, are you a Trump supporter?
No, happy Easter, Adam. I hope you have a great day.
You too. Happy Easter to you and your family. What are you doing?
Making fajitas.
Making fajitas. Nice. Not bad. Sounds great.
Yeah. I hope you have a great day, sweetheart.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye, baby.
If you are a Trump supporter, you can call in 908-652-3703. Why would any sane person want to prove you wrong? That's what sane people do, right? They attempt to prove someone wrong, but they can't. Okay? You can't. That's why you're not. This guy says, Israel never thought 1 billion years that they can have a missile for Iran to hit Tel Aviv. Done 1 million years, and they did. So they wouldn't even need to, technically they could smuggle it and stuff. You could make a legitimate argument. Could they technically? Probably. If Iran wanted to develop a nuclear weapon. But the point is, your incentivizing this by you're giving them more incentive by doing what you're doing now. So what are you doing? The question was, what are you doing militarily to prevent them from ever developing this technology? And I'd just like to add further, because so much of it is fear mongering, guys, is that Iran is no more dangerous than North Korea, than Russia. These countries continuously threaten us with nuclear deployment capabilities. So I think Americans are more concerned about whether or not they can pay for gas and whether they can pay for groceries than they are a country that doesn't even have the missile technology to reach ours. Could we have a legitimate... Should there be diplomacy? Yes. Should Iran have a nuclear weapon? Probably not. Like all these countries shouldn't have a nuclear weapon. But can I also understand why Iran may want to possess a nuclear weapon? Can I understand in 2026 that it would be impossible to maintain your sovereignty without it, as we're witnessing right now? Without a nuclear weapon, you legitimately can't maintain your sovereignty. I don't understand why we can't have diplomacy. Well, you can if you have someone who can effectively negotiate. How would you sort out this situation? Craig, I never would have gone into Iran. I would have attempted to do this diplomatically. I think one of the tells for me is when Donald Trump was asked, well, Iran would like to develop a civilian nuclear program. He said, well, I think that's uncivilized. I don't think they were even willing to let them have a civilian nuclear program. I just think that we need to change the way that we do things. And I think that bombing countries into submission needs to be retired. And I think that Israel has way too much influence over our government. And I think they get us into these wars. Look, guys, let's talk about Benjamin Netanyahu for a second, okay? Benjamin Netanyahu also testified in front of Congress before the global war on terror, convincing members of Congress and the president to invade Iraq, saying that it would have numerous positive benefits in the region, that Iraq possessed weapons of mass destruction, that Saddam Hussein had a relationship with Osama bin Laden. None of those things were true. Benjamin Netanyahu has stated that Iran was in possession of nuclear weapons or close to developing nuclear weapons through weapons-grade enriched uranium for the last over 30 years. I'm just asking you, at what point is enough for Americans to realize we're being played? Okay? We're being played. We need to start investing in our own people, and we need to stop these senseless conflicts. That's just all there is to it. That's all there is to it. I want what's best for Americans. I want what's best for my fellow Americans. And I move more and more in that direction. I'm not an isolationist. I understand there's a need for these relationships geopolitically, and there are circumstances that require support, and allies are important. But when it comes to the Middle East specifically, I mean, it's an endless $1 trillion bloody nothing burger at the end of the day. It never benefits the American people, ever. It's a waste of time, money, life. And it's completely for Israel. It has nothing to do with us. It doesn't benefit the American taxpayer in any way. All right, folks. Let's see.
Call from.
What?
Yes, are you a Trump supporter?
No, I'm not, but I have a question for you. I've been watching your stream for a few minutes.
Okay. You're not a Trump
Do
supporter?
you believe... No, I'm not, but I want to ask a question. Do you believe that Trump is the worst president in the history of the United States of America?
Yes,
arguably.
Yeah, probably, yes.
So there's no other president that you think was worse than him? Oh?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
So you think that he was definitely the worst? There's no other one that was like.
I could certainly make an argument for his incompetency leading to the pandemic and this war in particular. I mean, I can give you quite a few reasons that I think would defeat any argument you could give me. But obviously, we'd have to give consideration to like the time period and things that were going on and this and that. So it's really a very surface level to say the worst president in American history but yeah, I mean, I think in modern history for sure, by far.
And
I mean, yeah, I would argue he's a fascist. So unless you can tell me another president you
I
believe
wouldn't
is
call him a fascist. I think he's an idiot. I agree.
No, I believe.
Idiot,
I believe he's a fascist.
Why is he?
Yeah. So, do you know what fascism is?
I know it's a far-right totalitarian nationalistic system.
Right. So I believe he meets all four. I typically use the 14 tenets of fascism. I believe he meets all 14. So he's an ultra-nationalist. He attacks higher education. He believes in identification of enemies as a unifying cause.
I believe that, to me personally, he's more of a puppet rather than some kind of evil dictator of other people.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Like Netanyahu, right? Because he was in the files, and
Well, that's
let
me just say that's part of it. I don't discount that. Let me say that because the reason I don't mention a lot is because people think it's surface level. I think the files have a lot to do with the timing because I don't think that he would have. I don't think that Trump would have done this at this time if it wasn't for the Epstein files. I think Israel, see the reason why I blame Israel more than anything is because I think they preyed on the circumstances here in the United States. They preyed on the fact that Trump was in a corner with the Epstein files, right? That the midterms were coming up, and Benjamin Netanyahu is very strategic. Okay, so I think this is more or less an end run on our government and our intelligence agencies. And the Epstein files certainly put Trump in a position that I think made him more vulnerable in that sense. I think he thought that it would ultimately change the narrative. Look, Trump was going to, more news just came out recently. Trump was going to fire Pam Bondi back in January because of the Epstein files, because they were in the news. They were taking over the headlines. When they left the headlines, he actually forgot about it. He stopped talking about it. They left the headlines because of Minnesota, and then you had the Nancy Guthrie thing. And then they started to come back into the headlines again. It was leaking that the DOJ was obstructing justice and not releasing like really crucial information about his involvement there. And then this war happened. And we always used to say, if they ever were going to release those Epstein files, they'd start a war to prevent us from knowing about it. And that's actually what happened. And so that's why I think it feels like a surface level take to say, oh, it's because of the Epstein files. But I really believe in terms of the timing and stuff, I think it did have to do with the Epstein files. Yeah.
Well, to me, my idea, I largely agree with you. But to me, first of all, Trump is kind of like American Putin to me. Vladimir Putin to me is like the American Putin, but also
similar.
The whole, the Epstein files to me is like, to me it just feels like that it was all done on purpose, and him being elected was also like something that the Israelis were praying for, because they want to take down the Iranian regime. They want to put someone in power in Iran that would serve their interests. But they don't want to fight their own wars. So the Trump being the president of the United States is great for them because he was in the files. Then they can use the files to blackmail him into the war with Iran.
That's what I was just saying.
And also he himself supports it.
Yeah, I don't even think it has to be blackmailing. I just think they recognize the vulnerability. He's in a corner. The walls are closing in. I mean, they're the Clintons had just testified. They're demanding people like Howard Lutnick and Trump himself go in there and testify under oath. Even if it's not blackmailing, like that we don't need to prove that it's blackmailing. It's just he's vulnerable, right? Like this is the one thing that he can't get out from underneath. And yes, Netanyahu was communicating with Trump before the election. If you remember, they had been accused of breaking the law and potentially conspiring prior to, and Donald Trump wasn't allowed to negotiate on behalf of the United States at that time. It's against the law. And they were actually accusing him of having conversations and negotiations with Netanyahu before he was taking office. So yeah, absolutely Netanyahu wanted Trump to be president, 100%.
Yes, I mean, of course, because, then he can use him to
Yep.
fight the war in Iran without having to send his own people to die. He can send Americans to die.
Exactly.
In another
Yep.
pointless war in the Middle East.
Yep.
To kill thousands of people.
So
I mean, it's not the first time they did this.
No, but I would say though that we recognize now, right? Like Americans, I don't think social media has done a lot of bad, but it's also done a lot of good. People can share information like they have not been able to share information historically. Okay? And people know more than they do. They're more in touch with what's happening politically. They're not as blinded by mainstream media and the propaganda of the U.S. government or Israel. And so people understand that the war in Iraq was a mistake, and they understand that, there's no real benefit to fighting in the Middle East and things like this. And so for him to make this decision, not only with people knowing all of these things that they may not have known in 2003 or post 9/11, but also the fact that he ran an entire campaign focused on no new wars makes it even more outrageous, right? The war in Iraq was a mistake. The war in Afghanistan was a mistake. But the American people at the time largely supported those conflicts. The American people don't support this at all. I mean, majority of the American people are outraged that we're in Iran.
Well, of course they are. I mean, who wouldn't? Who wants thousands to die and billions to be wasted?
But what I'm saying is, because we're in a time period where information sharing is different, Americans are not as easily fooled by the propaganda, right? Like the things that were fed to them before the invasion of Iraq, right? Americans supported that conflict just because the U.S. government told them they were in possession of weapons of mass destruction, and there may have been a connection to 9/11. Americans aren't fooled, and they don't want to go back and do this again. They understand. I thought we had all universally agreed that we're not going back to the Middle East, but I guess Trump was the only one that didn't get the memo. But I don't think he's working in the interests of the American people. He's simply working in the interests of Israel and himself. And that's what's happening here. But thanks for calling in, dude. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like to talk. I liked talking to you too. It was a nice conversation.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Okay.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but and I think there's a major problem with our politicians, just period. I mean, I don't think a lot of them are working in the interests of the American people, and that needs to change. That needs to change. Someone's advocating. Why is Cybertruck in there? Why is Cybertruck in here advocating for a Tesla? Dude, those cars are ugly. Does anyone in here think a Tesla Cybertruck looks good? I think they look like shit. I don't like them at all. They're rejoicing that America is doing what no one would do in the past. Yes, they're celebrating the fact that we have a dumb enough, but that's why I say I don't want to underestimate the incompetence of the administration and our intelligence agencies. Folks, they literally Tulsi Gabbard testified under oath that she didn't believe it was their duty to conduct a threat analysis, that they're just supposed to provide the president with intelligence and he should make a determination on whether or not this country is a threat. It's literally their job. So let's not downplay the incompetence here. Israel, while Trump is desperate and in a corner, these people are incompetent and underqualified. And this is the consequence of a cabinet that is not qualified to do these jobs. You can't just plug loyalists in there, people that will never say no and say, well, that's good enough because they'll never turn my back. They'll never turn their back on me. They'll pick me over the Constitution. The Mike Pence thing that Trump was ultimately concerned about, which is why he surrounds himself with loyalists instead of what he refers to as the bureaucracy. Gambit, thank you so much. 8 Auto will crush Cybertruck garbage can. I think, I don't like the Cybertruck at all. I don't even like the way it looks. I can't believe there are people that like the way it looks. I think every time I see that car, I'm like, God, that car is ugly. The Cybertruck is not a good looking car. I agree 100%. I don't know if we may all be cooked. I don't know. I'm very concerned about this year. I think is, maybe the most important year in American history, really. What's going to happen come the midterms here? What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, kind of, but not really.
Okay, what does that mean? Did you vote for Trump?
No, I didn't vote for Trump.
Okay, so what does kind of mean then?
Well, I like his ideas at first, but he hasn't done anything that he really said he was going to do.
No, who did you vote for?
I didn't vote for anyone because I vote for somebody that you don't like. I'm not going to go vote for somebody when I don't like either side.
Well, I would have voted to prevent what's happening right now. I mean, that would be my argument.
Whatever's happening right now is what's happening right now. He said that wasn't going to happen, and it's happening.
All right, what's your take, dude? Go ahead, because I'm trying to talk to Trump supporters here because I'm running out of time. But what's going on?
Well, I'm listening to the podcast right now, and it's I don't like what's going on. We shouldn't be anywhere but here. He said America first, and now we're doing shit we're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not an isolationist, right? So, like, I do believe that we need to be focusing on American citizens. I think people are in rough shape here, and I think it needs the focus. And I think that, and I understand the need for relationships. I understand the need for allies and things like that. But I never believed Trump was a no new wars person. I always believed that was bullshit and just another campaign promise he wasn't going to keep to. I'm not sure why people couldn't see that, but anyway, it is a complete disaster, and hopefully we can. I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you what best case scenario is at this time. I think the only thing Trump could really do at this time, if I had to inherit this, I would say you're going to have to clear the straight, and you're going to need to cut your losses and leave. That's all you can do, and I think that's what they're probably going to attempt to do. I don't know. But Iran has no reason to cooperate when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz now. See, this is something Republicans didn't understand in the beginning. They thought like Iran had to form a blockade with their navy or something to create this kind of havoc in the strait. All they have to do is launch a rocket or throw a mine. They don't even have to use their speedboats. They can just mine it, and as long as it's dangerous, then these tankers don't pass through, and you've caused complete chaos.
Exactly, and we already know these things, and I don't know why anybody else doesn't figure this shit out. Everybody should know by now that we're the biggest bullies, but it's not us, the people. It's the government. It has nothing to do with us, the people. They don't. We should be able to have a say in it. Oh, do you want to go to war with Iran? No. We have nothing to do with them people.
Well, the president
let them fight their own shit.
It should be. I mean, Congress ultimately should be involved in that decision. Our elected representatives should be involved in that decision. Certainly.
We have a whole UN, two of them. We have them, and they sit there all amongst each other. Every fucking single country in whatever in the world, and they sit there next to each other and say, oh, well, you can kill this many people this year, and we'll kill this many people the next year. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
You're sitting there together.
Right. All right. Well, thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate it. Take care.
All right. You too.
All right, folks. Guys, I think I'm going to pop off here now. I did 2 hours. I wanted to give you guys a live. I hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate you guys. Happy Easter to everybody. If you guys haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. You're going to miss the lives if you don't hit that subscribe button. You also want to hit the notification bell so you know exactly when I'm live. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I hope you guys have a wonderful Easter holiday. Take care of yourselves. Appreciate you. Consider becoming a member of the channel and supporting. It helps. You can also support in my bio if you want. I appreciate you, though. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and take care.